رمضان هل هلاله وظلاله وجماله رمضان.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Welcome to another edition of Soul Food on ITV. I'm your host Maulana Zakaria Fernanda. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu ala rasulillah. All praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Peace and salutations upon our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us this beautiful month of Ramadan. And it is our prayer that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to complete this month in the best of manner, and that we be crowned at the end of this month with that crown of taqwa. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Today we're talking to Jahan Raja. Jahan Raja is the Discover Islam Center coordinator of the New Muslim Support Group. Alhamdulillah. Jahan, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam.
A very long title I gave you there.
Very long.
The Discover Islam coordinator
Yes,
for the
I
New
was
Muslim Support Group. Alhamdulillah. Jahan, this supporting new Muslims, I want to talk about the challenges that people who embrace Islam are faced with. And you obviously are in a very key position at Discover Islam in terms of your exposure to the problems that people have. And also your position there is obviously also based on the fact that you yourself had a journey into Islam. So before we get into the sticky things, just give us a brief overview of your own journey.
Yeah. I became Muslim in around 2001-ish in London, but didn't take on any practicals of Islam. Didn't learn very much. I just continued as I was, which was Christian, Church of England. I think I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I just needed to be taken out of that environment and placed in a more, we'll say, halal environment. And so when I moved here to Cape Town, I found Discovered Islam and started classes where I learnt about the beauty of Islam and what it entailed, and finally became into the society of Islam and the ways of life.
Yeah, subhanallah. And you've done a sterling job in your transformation.
Alhamdulillah.
Because you went from a student going through the courses with Dr. Abdullah Hakim Quick.
That's it.
Doing some other courses, and now alhamdulillah over the years you are now in a position yourself that you are assisting.
That's it.
And you're making Discover Islam understand itself better in terms of relating to new Muslims. Jahan, there are some key areas that new Muslims struggle with.
Yeah.
And I think as a community, we are not always empathetic to what the new Muslims go through. And sometimes to the extent that certain people will even leave Islam. What, in your experience, did you find are the main areas?
Yeah. When someone takes on a new religion, this one being Islam, and takes this new path in life, there is going to be obstacles in the way, because it is so different to we'll call it a previous life, the life you've been leading, and you've usually felt a void, something missing in that life, and Islam usually fixes it. Now we come into Islam, we say the Shahada, we start learning, and we experience a kind of euphoria. Wow, this is a new wonderful religion and it's going to fix everything, and there's some wonderful sisters and we're all going on a social, and this is such a lovely life now. And then reality hits and we have to tell our families, we have to go to work with this, we have to start wearing a hijab, we have to start being more covered, stop eating and drinking certain things, saying certain things, being with certain people and not being with certain people. So this creates a huge problem, we'll say, in the social area of a new Muslim. And so that's where support is often needed, because we sometimes find situations becoming difficult, and having to, for example, telling our parents that we've become Muslim is a very difficult thing to do for anybody, regardless of how, say, staunch the family has come from. So regardless of whether they were very practicing Christian or whether they were atheist, it can still be very difficult coming to terms with dealing with your family.
Yes, subhanAllah. So you mentioned a euphoria.
Yes.
And in my experience as well, when people embrace Islam at Discover Islam Center, I do find that there's an eagerness to in many individuals to want to learn, to want to practice, to want to do, and I think this can be problematic sometimes.
It can.
And as a community, you know, sometimes we read into this and we read a positive thing into this. But if the transformation is too quick,
yes,
and it's a big transformation. So if it's going to happen too quick, you're basically setting yourself up for to crash.
That's true, and we need to take baby steps. Allah's more concerned about quality, not quantity. And so it's better just to say a simple word, Allahu Akbar, Alhamdulillah, Shukran, every day, and build on that, than thinking that you've got to learn everything by Saturday and make it difficult for yourself. You have to see what is best for you and where your niche is in Islam, where you fit in, and what is easy for you, and you just stick with that for the first few weeks, months, however, and just build on it gradually. Because if we take on too much too soon, we will burn out.
Yes, and I think also planning is extremely important.
Yes.
I mean, you mentioned several things. You mentioned family, you mentioned work, you mentioned the social setting, and that's over and above you having to learn Islam.
Yes, that's true.
You still have to learn Islam, you still have to attend the class,
yes.
attach yourself to learning, and then you still have to practice Islam.
Yes.
So, how important is a plan, and how important is it to recognize that you're actually going to be challenged in all these various spheres, and that you need some type of a coping mechanism? Yeah,
it is very important, I think, at the beginning, when you've just taken your Shahada, to perhaps be told that, or in a way be briefed that you may have these problems, and to perhaps come to a group to discuss these problems perhaps before they happen, so you can discuss with people who've been through that similar situation, like telling your parents how's the best way to do it, when is the best time to do it, so to make it easier for the person, so then they can prepare it in their mind how to tell their parents.
Yes, subhanallah. A very important discussion, not only for the person who is becoming Muslim, but I think also for our Muslim viewers out there.
Yes.
From this angle that they can appreciate what the person is going through.
That's it.
And if you understand what the person is going through, then you can set yourself up as a supportive person.
Yes, that's true.
Jahan, we'll be back.
Okay.
After the break, stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. You're watching Soul Food on ITV. We're talking about the challenges that new Muslims experience when they embrace Islam. So if you're a new Muslim out there and you are experiencing some difficulty, this is the program to watch. And for our Muslim viewers or born Muslim viewers, it's important for us to understand what people go through when they embrace Islam. Jahan, extremely important.
Yes, indeed.
Family, you were mentioning that when a person embraces Islam, one of the challenges is how to break the news to your family, and then over and above breaking the news, then how this new relationship with them is going to work.
Yes. And we need to see how the family, think how your family is gonna be with this. Everybody knows, we'll take for instance their mother, how their mother is, their personality. So perhaps to think a way around how to make it easier for the mother to accept this new news, perhaps buy her a gift take her to a coffee shop,
Yes.
something very nice, keep her
Yes.
very nice, and then have a lot of time to be able to tell her this news. So it will be broken gently to her and not like this huge bombshell that's just been thrown at her and now she's to deal with this.
Yes, I know a young man who had embraced Islam who he walked around as a Muslim for about 1 year without his parents knowing. It took him about a year to pluck up the courage just to sit his mother and his father down and just to tell them that you've embraced Islam.
That's it, it's a very big deal.
Yes. You don't know what to expect.
Not at all, yes, because you can sometimes be sure about you, say your mum and dad, but unfortunately you sometimes, with this one, you don't know how they're going to react because it's such a new thing and you're not very experienced in the questions that they may throw at you.
Yes.
And so unfortunately we end up in a bit of a quicksand there.
Okay. and then when it comes to also marriage, so the person had embraced Islam, they might be getting married to a Muslim individual, and then there's the family on that side as well.
Yes, then you've got two families.
Yes.
To deal with one.
Yes.
So they are Muslim now, and they have certain expectations.
Yeah. What are some of the issues that come up?
Yes, I think they expect them to wear a scarf straight away, to change their wardrobe straight away on day 2.
Yes.
Now we must start wearing a scarf and that sort of thing. That's, I think, the main one. They expect them to be reading Salah, making du'as, fasting, all this sort of thing within the week.
Okay.
So I think, yes, it can be a lot of pressure.
So if you embrace on Saturday, by next Saturday, you must have it down to a science.
You must be off and running, yes, yes.
Right. Okay, subhanallah. There's challenges in the work as well.
Yes,
and in your social setting.
Yes, I think particularly with work that everybody knows you as a certain person, and now this person has changed, and so now this new person is also unsure, still going through classes and learning, but now it creates like a bit of a fear, a bit of an unknown within the workplace, within your boss. Maybe now you want to dress differently. So that's going to be a bit of a problem. Perhaps you may now want to start reading Salah.
Yes.
And they might think, what's going on? Why is this person now wanting to do and change? And it makes them feel very unsettled.
Okay, subhanallah. Were you faced with some of these issues?
I haven't worked while being a Muslim.
Okay.
No, not out in the. I did corporate before.
But in terms of and also in the social setting, in terms of some of the problems that you dealt with.
Yes, there were some. Yes, particularly wearing hijab because they were quite focal people. So they were on a front desk, and then the boss wasn't happy with them wearing a scarf, and it did create a lot of problems.
Okay, subhanallah. We talk about the person going through these types of challenges who had embraced Islam. Do you find also that when people come to the support group that they say that Muslims add to the problem?
Sometimes, yes, it can be, particularly, say, when they've attended a bayan at the Juma, and they've heard these talks and they've perhaps not understood it, or it was given a bit harshly, or perhaps it just wasn't coming across the same. Then they're worried about these things. Shame, it can be quite, getting to grips with what the message actually was can create a lot of fear.
Okay, subhanallah. And I find many times it relates to this uncomfortable feeling in the new Muslim. It relates to the Quran when it speaks about those who reject or the people of the book. And obviously your parents, you see your parents as these people.
Yes.
You see your extended family as these people.
Yes.
And this obviously all you're hearing is this Imam condemning your entire family to hell.
Yes, unfortunately.
And sometimes without any empathy.
Yes.
And sometimes had it just been said in the proper context, or made to be understood properly, it would have made a big difference.
That's true. That's quite true. And sometimes people have got a good message to say, and it's correct what they're saying. It was just how it was said. didn't go down very well. So yes, I think sometimes someone who's experienced with Islam needs to think first before they speak to a new Muslim, because what they say might be right, but how they say it may frighten them, frighten them off completely.
Obviously there's fiqh in Islam, there's the jurisprudence, and there's the way to do certain things. And as a Muslim, as young Muslims, you grow up, you learn, and then you learn to follow these rules.
Yes.
So it's an all or nothing type of a situation that Muslims tend to impose then on a person who embraces Islam.
Yes.
Like if you come in, it's a all or it's a nothing. You either do it all or you move along.
Yes, I found that. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean that without us understanding that it took us years.
Yeah.
It took us years. We went through teenage the years. We went through the adolescent years. Our parents had problems with us. We were rebelling and all being Muslim at the same time.
Yeah.
We weren't making salah. We were making salah one time a day perhaps.
Yeah.
Some were fasting. Some weren't fasting. Some were going to nightclubs, and some then they made a turn in their life. They had this entire life in Islam to be able to find themselves, and now when you reach this age of 28 or whatever the case may be, you find yourself grounded in Islam. I think it's a bit unfair on us as Muslims to expect a person who then at 28 finds Islam for the first time to then just be able to do everything.
Quite true.
Yes.
Yes, and I think just a little bit of thought beforehand, a bit of preparation, then I think it can do the world of good.
Inshallah. John, we'll be back after the break. Stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Soul Food on ITV. We're talking about the challenges that new Muslims are faced with, and in studio I have Jahan Raja. She is the coordinator of the New Muslim Support Group at the Discover Islam Center. Jahan, sometimes people embrace Islam, they have great confidence, they have strong temperaments, and they are able to navigate through this transformation with relative ease. And even though big obstacles are in their way, alhamdulillah, they have this ability to hang in there. But then there are those who after a while they start to falter.
Yes.
They start to falter and they feel it's just getting too much for them.
Yes.
I know these people usually contact you.
Yes.
Sometimes they'll email at the office and they tell us they want to throw in the towel. Yeah. What is usually the content?
Yes.
What are they usually complaining about? What are they usually saying?
Unfortunately, this does happen. I think mainly it's all become just too much for them. Different areas of life, probably parents, if they've got children, work has just become too much for them. This new thing that they've taken on has just become too much of a hassle, a pain. It's now creating more trouble than what it was, say, a year ago, a few months ago. And so they feel that by eliminating this problem, then that's what's going to fix their life. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the case, that Allah wanted them to become Muslim. They chose them to become Muslim. So them taking the Shahada was correct. That's right. And yes, there are going to be problems. And I think if people could just, instead of giving up, throwing in the towel, just to step back a bit and breathe, and just to take stock of the situation, their family, their office, whatever, perhaps just to stop practicing whatever, just focusing on one small aspect, but just to hang in there and not to give up. If we give up, we'll go back to what we were, and we weren't happy then. So at least now we have progressed a little. We are happy now. It's just areas around our life have become problematic. And so I think by perhaps focusing on the Quran and the Sunnah, And particularly, I do like to advise of one surah where it says, with difficulty comes ease. And there is, everybody will have difficulty. It will be difficult. But Allah has promised that there will be ease. So I think if we just hang in there, just do whatever's easiest for you, whether that be reading a surah, whether it be saying one word of shukran, alhamdulillah a day, that's Allah will really like that. And to hang in with that, to make dua, and to, well, just to basically hang in there with that, because He promised, with difficulty comes ease, so it will get easier. Yes, I do believe that, and I've seen it quite a few times where people have hung in there, and their family has come round. It may have taken a day, a week, a year, 10 years, but their family have come round, and they have been able to accept them. Maybe not totally and fully as what they were, but they have now brought on a new, different relationship. But at least the family were okay with it. Yeah.
And I think as Muslims, we need to actually, if someone embraces Islam, we need to actually just give them a heads up that this is some of the dynamics that is going to happen.
This will happen.
There's going to be a change in the relationship. There's going to be a change in the relationship dynamic, and you have to prepare for this.
Yes.
You have to prepare for this. You have to prepare what you're going to do at Christmas time.
When that is
everyone's
a very
celebrating
difficult
Christmas.
Time.
You're going to have to think through it before the time.
Yes.
You're going to have to think what you're going to be doing at the New Year's dinner, when everyone is going to raise their
wine glass. Here's to the new year, and you can't do that. That's a problem. Yes.
It sounds mundane, like mundane issues. It's issues that Muslims are not faced with, but if you have an extended family, it's issues that you are faced with.
Yes, and you can feel extremely lonely at Christmas time. That week between Christmas and New Year can be a very lonely time, because your family and friends, what you've been used to all your life, is now partying and having a good time.
Yes.
And you can't really do that, although you could perhaps do aspects of it, but not all of it. And so you have to navigate yourself through that, and that can be a very difficult time.
And I mean, it's easy to say, go on your musalla and
cry and pray.
Start praying.
Yes.
And we're not saying that you shouldn't do that. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and continually ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there needs to be some practical
we need to have a plan.
You need to have a plan, some practical action.
Yes.
And so the support group, the Discover Islam support group, tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, get in touch with us at the support group. I also do the group with another lady, Shahida, and we meet once a month on a Saturday morning in the ladies section of Islamia Masjid, usually around 11 o'clock-ish.
Okay, so that is here in Cape Town?
In Cape Town, yes.
So if you're in Cape Town and you feel that you need the support, you feel you're a new Muslim, you're going through some challenges, contact the Discover Islam Center. I'll ask them to put our number on the screen. And Discover Islam Center will put you in touch with Jahan.
That would be good, and we can discuss anything. We can discuss any problem that you feel, small or huge in your mind. We can discuss it, and also people can feel free to bring their parents, so they can see other Muslims. Other new ladies that have become Muslim, and they can perhaps have an idea of how to deal with that issue.
Yes, subhanallah. Yes, I have found, I've witnessed some of the support groups. You invited me as a speaker already, and I like the idea that we open it up sometimes to the families. I love that idea. We open it up to the families, and there's not this judgment looking down on the non-Muslim family, because Muslims have this tendency when they see perhaps a non-Muslim in masjid environment, there's this looking down, but they forget that this is actually a relative of a person who had just become Muslim.
That's true. And that helped a lot with my own mother. I brought her to one of the classes many years ago now, but it helped settle her, because at the end of the day, parents, they just want what's the best for their child, and if they can see other new Muslims and other people practicing, then I think it helps them settle and not think that it's going to be all about terrorism and oppression and all these horrors that we see in the media.
Okay, so very exciting, your support group. In about 1 minute that we have left, what's your parting words?
Yes, get in touch with us. get in touch with me. We'll have a discussion. We'll talk about your problems, your issues, whatever it is that you are troubled with. Get in touch and we'll hopefully sort it out and come to some way forward. But I think that's what we need to do. We need to move forward and not go backwards, because this is what Allah has chosen for you, alhamdulillah. And I think we can come to some agreement somewhere along the line where we can help out and make it easy for somebody. Because,
and I know when you don't have the expertise yourself, we direct them into the areas of people who can help them also.
Yes, that's it. Yes.
Jan, it's been a pleasure speaking to you.
It was nice. The pleasure was all mine. Thank you so much.
for shedding some light on this issue that is often very shrouded for us as a community. Jazakumullah khair. All the best for the month of Ramadan.
Shukran, and you too.
Jazakumullah khair. That's all that we have for today. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.